All right, so this video is all about where you should live here in the city of Menifee, California. I'm going to give you the pros and cons from different parts of town, tell you what makes some parts of town more desirable than others, talk about some of the best neighborhoods and what areas you should really focus on when you're thinking about buying a home here in Menifee. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, hey again, my name is Justin Short. I'm a realtor and team leader with the Short Real Estate team here at Keller Williams in Temecula, California, in Murrieta, California. But this video is all about the city of Menifee. We're going to talk to you about the different parts of town, give you my recommendations of the best parts of the city, where you want to try and live, where all the action's happening, and then give you some of the pros and cons to different parts of town. So, but before I get into that, if you are liking real estate videos like this, do me a favor, please hit like, please hit subscribe to the channel. Obviously it helps me, it helps the channel as we continue to grow it. And then if you guys have any real estate questions, of course, I'd love to hear from you. So I help a lot of people that relocate here to the area to, the Temecula, Murrieta, and Menifee area. Most people kind of look at all three cities and some of the surrounding cities as well, here in Southern California. So I would love to be a resource for you. I'd love for you guys to ask me any questions you may have, or I can point you in the right direction. Or of course, if you would like to actually focus on purchasing a home and want some help with your home search, of course I'd love to do that. So that's how I earn a living, or my team members earn a living. We would love the opportunity to help you and be able to help you through that process. But let's go ahead and we'll get into the video here. So I'm going to flip around the camera. We're going to do a little bit more of the map view so I can circle some different parts of the city, give you some recommendations. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, cool. So I think we got the camera all flipped around. Hopefully you guys can see my screen pretty well. But basically, I just pulled up a map here of the city of Menifee. I'm going to highlight different areas as we're going through the conversation and kind of point out some different things and areas I recommend and give you some other things to pay attention to. So, so first thing, so we're talking today about the city of Menifee. It's not most of the videos on my channel are about some of the other cities, Temecula, Murrieta. The reason I wanted to make this about Menifee and really what makes it so desirable and why so many people are interested in that area is because it's a little bit more affordable, right? So if we look at average price point, the average price point in the city of Temecula is about $850,000. The average price point in the city of Murrieta is about $750,000. And then the average price point for the city of Menifee is going to be right around that $600,000 price range. So Menifee does tend to have some smaller homes that are going to be a little bit less expensive, that are 55 plus areas, and we'll talk a little bit about that actually a little bit later in the video. But in general, the price savings to going from city Murrieta to Menifee can be anywhere from about $80,000 to $120,000. So it's a pretty significant savings, and that's why people do tend to look there, especially if affordability is a concern and we can't quite afford some of those higher price points in Temecula and Murrieta. So it's a great alternative. It's a great area. What makes it so desirable is, besides the price point, is it also is an area that is really growing. So over the last 10 years, Menifee has been one of the fastest growing cities in the state of California, and they are predicted to remain that way over the next 10 years. So they have a ton of infrastructure that they put in place. There's a ton of development still going on. They're adding a new off-ramp today, currently, right? They're building another off-ramp to make it more accessible for people to get to their houses, etc. So it's definitely an area for growth, and it's, I would say it's probably either the city number one or number two as far as a local city that has the most new construction going on. So that kind of shows you what's going on over the next 4 or 5 years as all this new development starts to really take hold. So what I want to give you kind of a little bit general lay of the land. So we're looking here at a map of the city of Menifee. If you haven't looked at a map yet, it's probably something you should do if you're thinking about relocating here. This kind of give you a general lay of the land. So we talk a lot in these other videos about the 15 freeway, right? So the 15 freeway runs relatively pretty north and south throughout most of Southern California. So it's going to connect from San Diego up to basically take you to LA, and it'll keep on going. 15 goes quite a way, but in general it goes pretty north and south. The 215 breaks off in the city of Murrieta, so it's kind of starts a little bit south of here, and that tends to run a little bit more northeast. So it tends to run towards the city of Riverside. So the city of Riverside, which is a little bit more northeast than what the 15 freeway is, right? So as the 215 freeway starts, you have a couple major off-ramps. So the first major off-ramp here is the Scott Road off-ramp. So that's kind of the southernmost off-ramp for the city. Actually, if you go probably about a half mile south, you actually end up hitting the border for the city of Murrieta, right? So you're really right there on the border of Murrieta, Menifee. The next off-ramp you're going to come into is Newport Road. And then the third one is going to be McCall Road. There's actually a fourth off-ramp up here that's that I believe that's actually considered city of Menifee as well, but it's right there on the northern border, and that's going to be Ethanak right there at the top. So you have those different off-ramps. I told you they're building one currently, so they have a new off-ramp going in right here, right in the middle of Scott Road and Newport Road. Okay, so that's kind of general lay of the land. The way the city is set up, kind of your general borders here is kind of here's your general size of the city, right? So you can see this 15 freeway runs pretty north and south, or the 215 freeway runs pretty north and south, basically splits the city in half, right? So you're going to have things on the west side of the freeway and then the east side of the freeway. It's kind of a good general lay of the land, right? Now, the area I talked about in the last 10 years, Menifee's grown a lot. The area that has seen the most growth is definitely, without a doubt, this area right here, right off of Newport Road. So Newport Road, as it comes, it actually eventually changes names to Dominigoni Parkway. That will take you, if you keep going, to Winchester and then out to Hemet. So if you see Dominigoni, that is the same. And also if you go west, so if you go towards the 15 freeway, eventually this road also changes names to Diamond Drive into Lake Elsinore. So it's a very, very long road, right? But for the most part, you're going to call it Newport Road right here off of the 215 freeway. So, and the reason it's so desirable there is that's really where all the infrastructure has gone in. So they actually redid the off-ramp here at Newport Road over the last, I guess, probably 4 or 5 years now. So it was really crummy and small. They expanded it, added a lot more lanes, made the traffic flow a lot better. But there's several shopping centers that they built. So there's a big, massive shopping center there. There's another large shopping center there. There's a huge shopping center here with Lowe's and Target and In-N-Out and all types of restaurants, all types of stuff. There's a big area here with large grocery stores, Sprouts, and other little markets and stores, things like that. But there's just so many areas, and there's probably 5 or 6 other commercial developments in there right off of Newport. So that is definitely the heart of Menifee, and where most of all the shopping and restaurants and activity, all that is going to be, is right off of Newport Road right there. So it's definitely a desirable area to be, and that is really where everyone wants to be. Because if not, if you're not going to go visit, if you're going to go shopping somewhere and you're not going to go somewhere off Newport, besides a couple grocery stores here and there, really you're going to be going south down towards Temecula, right? So because Temecula just happens to have more of those restaurants and shopping and all that type of stuff. So when I talked about the top 3 neighborhoods in Menifee, so with the number 1 and most desirable neighborhood for people is going to be this community of Audie Murphy Ranch. So you can see it's actually indicated here on the map as well, but this is a huge master plan community. So it's right here off of Newport Road. It's more on the west side of the city. Like I said, it's kind of the most western portion of Menifee. If you go any further, you end up in Canyon Lake, which is a different city. And it is so large now. I think I've lost I don't know what the newest count, because they've finished up some new construction lately, but I think it's over 3,500 homes now that are in there. So it's a huge HOA. The HOA itself is really, really nice. There's several community pools. There's many community parks. I think it's almost like a dozen community parks. There's a big, huge clubhouse. There's a big sports park that's there. There's a skate park that's there. There's walking trails, running trails. It actually covers both the south side of Newport Road and the north side of Newport Road. So it's so big it actually expands over such a large road. So it's a real big area, very desirable. That area was all built probably at the beginning, probably 2012, 2013, until some new construction is still just finishing up now, right? So from 2015 or so until now, it's built over about a 10-year period. But because it's so new, you have a lot of those really nice open concept layouts, some of those cool, cool finishes that people like, all the homes that are in style, right? So quartz countertops and waterfalls and backsplashes and open layouts, etc. So it tends to be an area that people really, really like, right? And so definitely that would be considered the top neighborhood in Menifee. Number two, and probably the second most popular community in Menifee, is going to be the community of the Lakes. So that again is off of Newport Road. So Newport Road comes out, and you will see this area here, right here just south of Newport Road. It's on the east side of the freeway, and that would be where the Menifee Lakes area is. So, or the lakes in Menifee is. So there's two communities. There's Menifee Lakes, which is, I read off the map, but there's also the Lakes. The Lakes is really the more desirable city, more desirable neighborhood. Menifee Lakes tends to be, it's a little bit older. The Lakes is the newer area, and definitely where people want to be. So it's a gated community. Again, the HOA is really, really nice. Community pool, community spa, clubhouse, gym, all types of stuff, activities, walking trails, etc. And it's gated. So it's a really, really nice area and tends to be really, really desirable. And then the third area that's really popular in Menifee is going to be the Heritage Lakes area. So Heritage Lakes is a little bit more north. So we have this Newport Road. If we're going to go north of Newport Road, up this way, this is where that Heritage Lakes area is. Heritage Lakes is really nice. It is a huge community. It was built, it's probably starting in 2004 up till, I think they finished up now, but probably 2022, 2023, they were still building. So it was built over a long period of time, but it is a massive, massive community. Again, there's probably over 2,500 homes or so that are in there. It's kind of where you see that body of water here on the map. There is a man-made lake there. You can walk around. It's very pretty. Again, the HOA is lower there, so you don't have quite as many amenities, but there is a pool, there is a spa, there's parks, there's walking trails, and it is such a large community. There's an elementary school that's right in that is inside the neighborhood there as well, so that's really nice if you have young kids. And it's just it's newer, it's squeaky clean, and it's just a really, really desirable area. Originally, where it was built, it was kind of isolated. There wasn't a lot out by it, not a lot of shopping, etc. But as the city has really built out, they've built a lot around there and made that neighborhood a lot more accessible to all the other cool stuff that Menifee has to offer. So that's another really popular area that people like, and it tends to be a little bit more affordable than those two other neighborhoods that we had just talked to. So those are the top neighborhoods to pay attention to. And then when you are looking to buy a home in Menifee, one of the things that I always talk to my clients about that's going to be super important is just thinking about, hey, when you're buying a home here, and most people, this is the case for you, which it's going to be for most people, are not going to work here locally in Menifee, right? Or at least one of the owners are going to be commuting out to work, right? If that's the case, if you're going to be commuting, then you got to pay attention to where you are going to be on the freeway, right? So if you're going to go north, you want to make sure the further north you are off the 215 freeway, that's going to make a big difference for you as far as your commute time. If you're going to go south, the further south you are and the quicker you can pop on that freeway, that's going to be a big difference, right? For example, we talked about that Audie Murphy area. Although on a map, distance-wise, it doesn't maybe look that super far between where your house would be to where the neighborhood is if you're going to commute south. But on a busy day, coming home Friday, at 4 o'clock, if you're coming home, this freeway is all jammed up, a lot of traffic, bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper, and the Newport Road has a lot of traffic as well. I told you it's a popular area, it's where people want to be. You might be in pure traffic all the way this way. So compared to exiting off of Scott Road and living right over here, compared to having to fight the freeway all the way up, that might take you an extra 20 minutes, one way, getting home in the afternoon. So that's just something to pay attention to, and how close you are to the freeway. If you're going to live in Menifee, like we talked about, it's a little bit less expensive than Temecula and Murrieta. It tends to be more desirable for people when they are going to commute north, so towards Riverside, etc. If you're going to be commuting south towards San Diego, it can definitely increase your commute quite a bit. So if that's going to be you, if you can afford the price point and you can qualify and afford a payment for something that's going to be more in the Temecula Murrieta area, I think your quality of life is going to be a lot better if you can swing it. If not, sometimes you got to make do, but it's definitely more desirable if you're in Menifee that you're going to be someone that's commuting north and not fighting that traffic going south every day. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just all the new construction inside Menifee. So we talked about how Menifee is a growing area. It's grown a lot over the last decade, and it's expected to grow a ton more over the next 10 years. One of the reasons that is we talked about these other communities that have been built, etc. Well, there's a lot more communities that are currently under construction, and those tend to be really desirable for people. So those are places, usually if we're going to go out to Menifee, we're going to take a look at some new build communities as well to see if you can find something that's going to be a good fit for you and your family there as well. So that tends to be a little bit more, not quite on the outskirts, but a little bit more towards the outside of the city, right? So there are some different new build construction homes. So you have some off of the Scott Road area that are going to be there. And I want Menifee really has, definitely compared to Temecula Murrieta, many more new construction options than those cities, and it's between them and Elsinore as far as who's going to have the most. But there's a lot of new build construction going on. So you have some new construction right here, over here off of Scott. You have some new construction over here off of McCall and kind of up this way. You have another community that's out this way on the other side of McCall, and kind of over in this Goats area, you have another very large new construction community that's going in over there. You have another one just south here, kind of where it says Holland Road, right around that area. And you have some other new construction that's supposed to be coming soon over off of Scott Road. And then those are kind of the bigger, larger communities that are still in the process of being built. But there's probably another 4 or 5 communities that are still under construction right now. There's another handful that are right here off of where it says Dominigoni. Some of them may be considered Winchester right there, but just a lot of new construction options. So if that is something you're interested in, you're going to see a lot more options there in Menifee as opposed to Murrieta. So that's something you want to pay attention to. And the other thing that I did want to mention about Menifee, there are also the most 55 plus communities to choose from in the city of Menifee as well. So if you are looking for a 55 plus community, for yourself, Menifee is going to give you quite a bit more options than Temecula or Murrieta. They're pretty limited in those cities. Temecula has 1 55 plus community. Murrieta has 3. One of them's a manufactured home community, so some people don't like the idea of that. But Menifee has several. So there's probably 8 different 55 plus communities in Menifee. I'll point out some of the bigger ones. The largest and most popular is this area right here off of McCall, and that is called Sun City. So Sun City is off the 215 freeway. It's off McCall Boulevard. You get off, you go west on McCall, and there is, when you do that, you're right there in the middle of Sun City. There's probably over 3,500 homes there in that community. That is an older 55 plus community, but it tends to be the most popular because it's less expensive. So the price point there is quite a bit less than the average price points for other homes in Menifee. You can buy a home probably anywhere from starting right around $320,000 up to $420,000. The reason that is the homes are a little bit older. So they're built anywhere from like the mid 60s to mid 70s. So they're now 50, 60 years old, right? And with that, you kind of have a hodgepodge of different homes that have been upgraded and really, really super nice, as opposed to some homes that are 1965 original and haven't been upgraded, anything since 1965, right? So might need a little bit of remodeling. If that's something that's going to be important to you. So you are going to have a pretty big price savings, probably anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 price savings as opposed to a non-55 plus community. So that tends to be a really popular area, especially if you're 55 plus, if you're on a fixed income, right? And the budget's going to be limited. Sun City is going to be a really great option. And honestly, it's a nice community. The HOA offers a lot. They keep it up pretty well, and I think it's a good option for just affordable living in Southern California. Not a ton of areas like that. So that's probably the most popular, but there is also another large community that's called the Oasis. So right here off of the 215 freeway, right off of Newport. It's built around a golf course. It's gated, it's guard gated. A lot of cool things with the HOA. There's also the Orchid and Primrose community, which is the newest of the bunch. That is over on the west side of the freeway, kind of over this way. It's gated, no guard, but it's newer. They're built 2015 and newer. So those are going to be a few other real popular options. But in addition to those, there's probably, I counted 5 other 55 plus communities they're going to be smaller and not as notable, but going to be some really good options in there as well. So if you are looking for a 55 plus community, that could be a big thing for you too. So hopefully that's some good information for you guys. Hopefully that gives you a good rough lay of the land. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much for you. But if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to reach out. You can call, you can text, you can email me, and hopefully talk to you soon. Thanks.